What's up, guys? It's Cody from Helpful Dreams. Thank you so much for coming by the channel today. This is where we gather all the best motivational and inspirational content of all time into one place where we discuss it and we pull out the gold nuggets of wisdom so we can apply it in our own lives. And I'm excited today because we're going to be covering one of my favorite topics, the law of attraction and mindset. And I prepared a mashup audio of Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale. And I'm actually going to listen through with you guys, and you'll be able to see my notes pop up on screen like little gold nuggets. And we're still running the Tony Robbins contest for free tickets to the virtual event coming up in July. You can enter that raffle through the link in the description. And for people who enter in the raffle, we're also giving away free Think and Grow Rich books at random. And we're going to continue to give away personal development items as we go throughout the year. And it's just awesome, and I hope it helps people out. I'm going to go ahead and roll the video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
In the movie The Secret, I quoted Dr. Wernher von Braun, who is considered by many as the father of the space program. He said, "The natural laws of this universe are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building a spaceship, sending people to the moon, and we can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second." He also said these laws must have been set by someone. And you know, it's strange. It's not that long ago when science and religion were really considered antagonistic. That's not so today. It's looked at it now, one studying the cause and the other studying the effect. And von Braun said, after studying the spectacular mysteries of the cosmos for many years, he had arrived at the firm conviction that there is a God. I see the laws as God's modus operandi. It's how everything happens. The Secret was based on the concept of a law of attraction. And because the movie went viral, it was all over the world, everyone everywhere was talking about the law of attraction. People writing books on it that don't really understand it, people speaking on it that many of them advertise their ignorance when they talk about it. I'm of the conclusion that attraction is not really understood in any depth by most people. Now, I've studied this every day for 50-some years. And I can assure you, attraction is a law, but it's a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. The law of vibration is one of the basic laws of the universe. It decrees that everything moves, nothing rests. We literally live in an ocean of motion. Do you know that everything is an expression of the same thing? The leaves, the tree, the cement, the body, the clothes. It's all energy at a different rate of vibration. You see, your body is a molecular structure in a very high speed of vibration. Your brain is an electronic switching station. Your brain does not think, but you think with your brain. There's a difference. As you activate brain cells, you set up a vibration in your body. For me to just move my hand like that, I had to activate brain cells or my hand wouldn't have done it. If a person's had a stroke, where the blood just stops going to a section of the brain, those brain cells become dead. The movement in the body, in that part of the body that is controlled by those cells, stops. Vibration is something that must be understood if you're going to take control of your health. It must be understood if you're going to take control of your relationships. It must be understood if you want to become wealthy. And if you want to really master the art of selling, vibration is an essential. You've got to understand it. And yet almost all the sales training programs that are done worldwide have nothing about the law of vibration in them. As Robert Louis Stevenson said, everybody's selling. You're selling an idea, a product, or a service. And it's true. The teacher's selling the student. The parent's selling the child selling the parent. Well, what do we mean selling? Well, the professional salesperson understands that selling is doing something for someone, not to someone. And the professional will sit down and they will get to know the prospect. They will find as much about the prospect as they can. They'll have permission to ask the prospect questions. They'll gather a lot of information, and they find out where the prospect wants to go, what they want to accomplish. They mentally get on the prospect's frequency and help the prospect go to where they want to go. My old mentor called that empathy-ego balance, where you're able to get into the other person's mind and see the world from where they see it. Get on their frequency, get in their vibration. The vibration you're in is going to dictate what you attract into your life. And if you're troubled, you're worried, you're going to attract a lot of bad energy. That's why the great sufferer in the Bible said, "Lo, the thing I fear has come to visit upon me." Well, fear is a very negative vibration. It's a very negative emotion. It's caused by doubt and worry, and doubt and worry is really caused by ignorance. That's why Solomon said, "In all you're getting, get understanding." What do we want to understand? I think we want to understand the laws that govern our being, the laws that govern our universe. And then we want to understand how to get in harmony with the law. Everything you want will come to you when you get in harmony with it. Vibration is essential to understand, but only one person, maybe 10, has any grasp of it at all. If you ask a person how they feel, what they're really telling you is their conscious awareness of the vibration they're in. If a person says, "I just don't feel very well," that person's probably in a very negative vibration. A person said, "I feel wonderful," they're in a very good vibration. If you're in a really good vibration and you're with a person that's very negative, you will not feel comfortable in their presence. Feeling, conscious awareness, vibration. You don't feel comfortable in their energy and you want to get away from them. Now, if you were negative and they're negative, you're going to come together. Misery loves company. See, these old sayings are all based on laws. It's hard to believe that two miserable people would be comfortable together, but if you understand they're both on the same frequency, they're both listening to the same music. You'll often hear a person that went for a walk in the woods. They said it was so pleasant. Why? The vibration of nature is perfect. That's why a walk in the woods leaves you feeling so good. What do you understand about the law of vibration? That's a good question to ask yourself. I'm going to give you a small exercise. The next time you're around a person that's complaining about anything, or that obviously it doesn't feel very well, start changing the subject. Start talking to them, about something good about them. Compliment them, but make it a sincere, merited compliment, not false praise. No flattery. Pick out something good that they do and slowly turn the subject around to that. Let them know how much you admire how well they do it. And you know something? Like that, their energy will change. You have caused them to change their vibration. Now, the beautiful truth about this, when you do it, you'll learn how to do it to yourself when you're not feeling very good. That's the beautiful truth. We are in control of how we feel. I was reading something by Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, a Viennese psychiatrist, spent the war years in a concentration camp. He said, in every situation, there is a space between the situation and how you respond to it. And in that space, you can decide how you're going to respond. Now, that space may only be a millisecond, but in that space, you can decide, are you going to react or are you going to respond? Think of it. In every situation, between the situation and your response, there is a space. And in that space, you can decide how you're going to respond. Vibration is something that I love studying. When you're in a restaurant or in a store or any place where the energy is really good, you feel very comfortable. It's the vibration in the place. You've gone into a restaurant and sat down, and before you ordered anything, all of a sudden you don't want to eat there. Why? It's the energy, it's the vibration of that place. You should get up and leave. Go where you feel comfortable. Do what makes you feel good. That's why people that are doing what they love never have to work again. They spend their whole life in a wonderful vibration. The person who truly understands how to pray puts himself in a wonderful vibration. I want to suggest you study it and understand this. You will attract to you whatever you're in harmonious vibration with. You are in control of the vibration you're in.
On a flying trip some time back, I had the pleasant experience of having for a seatmate an interesting and very successful gentleman who made a lasting impression on me. When in the course of our conversation I discovered he'd been with the same company for 20 years and had gone right to the top of that company, I asked him a question I've asked of every successful person I've known. I asked, what was it that got you into the success column? Can you recall the turning point in your career? Well, he smiled and said, I certainly can. I got into the business with my company 20 years ago, and for the first 2 years nothing much happened. I was very average and not too happy. Until one day, the business got into me. From that time on, it's been great. It isn't when we get into the business that's important. It's when the business gets into us. He went on to say that, like many men starting out, he spent the first 2 years waiting for his job to prove itself to him. Then one day it dawned on him that it should be the other way around. His job offered whatever he wanted to make of it. It would pay him what he earned, bring him any success he earned. It would provide his family with a home and all the material things now and in the years ahead to whatever degree he wanted. But he suddenly realized that it was up to him to prove himself. The job couldn't care one way or another. And that was when the business got into him. Realizing how important his work was to himself, his family, and their future lives, he simply started giving it what it had deserved all along. He threw himself completely into his work, and that was when exciting things began to happen. From that time on, he was no longer a man with an ordinary job in the sense of being separate and apart from his work. Instead, he and his work became one. This did not in any way detract from his family life. In fact, it improved it. A man is happiest at home when he's happy with his work, and a steady increase in income that began then and has continued to this day has made that man's home life just that much better. If you will think just a moment, you realize that the outstanding people in every line are those who have managed to make this same discovery. They've overcome handicaps that would have quickly stopped anyone less dedicated, but there must be hundreds of thousands of men and women in the country today with virtually unlimited opportunity who are needlessly holding themselves back because they've never made this vital discovery. We will be great in our work and reap commensurate rewards to the extent that we become one with what we're doing. For example, tests have proved that those people who most often complain about long hours when the way they spend their time was carefully analyzed were amazed to learn how little time they were spending actually doing their work. And this was the very factor that made their time hang so heavily. Whereas the more purposeful employees found their days passing all too quickly. We're never conscious of the passing of time when we're busily engaged in our work. The man who gives everything he's got to his work finds other important things happening. First, inner conflicts that may have troubled him tend to disappear. He never gets that empty feeling behind the belt buckle that comes when he knows we're giving less than the best that's in us. The second thing that happens when a man lets the business get into him is that he acquires greater self-respect, stands a little taller. He sees his job in a new or clearer light, recognizing the benefits he makes possible for customers through his product or service. Finally, the people whose work has gotten into them feel the tempo of the times. They're conscious of the excitement of the changes going on around them, and there's never been a time in history that offered the opportunities we tend to take for granted today. The median income has doubled in the span of one generation. Our standard of living is the envy of the world and is still rising sharply. Today we're rapidly approaching the time when we'll have more money to spend upon non-essentials than upon the essentials themselves, which have traditionally taken just about all most families could earn. Yes, today people have more money to spend for products and services than ever before in history, and tomorrow they'll have still more. And this means that within the next decade, perhaps less, we and our families will have better homes, better food, more clothing, medical care, transportation. We'll also have much more of the good things of life: education, leisure, hobbies, entertainment, vacations, fun. The room at the top is getting roomier all the time as our economy booms and broadens. But big as we are, we've just got started. A company growing at the rate of 10% a year will double in size in less than 8 years. Where will you be in the world of tomorrow, next year, or 5 years from now? It'll be determined, as my friend on the airplane put it, by whether or not the business gets into you. Of course, you may already be throwing yourself into your work 100%, but if you still look at your job as just a means to an end, as simply a way to put bread on the table and pay the bills, let me recommend a test. It'll take only 30 days, time that'll pass anyway, whether we do anything about it or not. For 1 month, go all out. You don't have to commit yourself for a lifetime, just for 30 days, to prove to yourself what happens when you pull out the stops. Dedication is renewable. So try it. Dedicate yourself fully to your job, your company, and your service to others for 30 days. At the end of that time, I think you'll find yourself renewing your dedication for the second month and so on. And if you haven't already made the discovery, perhaps you'll know the fun, the excitement, and the success that comes when your business gets into you. Did you ever wonder where those human dynamos, those people who can pack as much work into one day as most of us do in 2, get all the energy and drive that makes them go? Well, the source of drive and energy in human beings is known. It's the personal excitement that comes from a great motivating desire. If you ask most people why they get out of bed in the morning and slug away all day on the job, they'll probably have to think about it a while before coming up with an answer. When they do, it's usually along the line of, to pay the rent or to put food on the table. Answers like these aren't exciting. I belong to the group that thinks life is far too short to be dull. Shelter and food are things we need, but unless we're living out in the street or starving to death, we're not apt to get too excited about a place to sleep or something to eat. Those who have no exciting reason for getting out of bed in the morning may be fine people, but they never seem to accomplish anything out of the ordinary, and they miss a lot of fun and a lot of rewards they could be enjoying. They haven't the drive to become outstanding because they don't have a great motivating desire. The key that unlocks energy is desire. It's also the key to a long and interesting life. If we expect a person to do something we want him to do, we have to get him excited. And if we expect to create any drive, any real force within ourselves, we have to get excited. We have to decide upon something we desire very much. A goal that fires our imagination with a mental picture of having something, doing something, or being something. In a company we surveyed while preparing these messages, one of the men had won the admiration of all the others. We noticed that he had thorough knowledge of his company, its products, markets, and competitors. He took pains to understand his customers and their problems. These things, along with an easy manner and a good personality, marked him as an outstanding employee. We asked him about all this, and he said, "When I came with this company a few years back, I decided to shoot for a manager's job in one of our districts. I'm doing everything I can to be the kind of man who would have that job." Well, that explained it. In his mind, he was already running his own district. The rest of him was merely carrying out the motions that would soon propel him into the job he wanted. Meanwhile, he was enjoying himself tremendously. The mental image of being a district manager so appealed to him that he found all the enthusiasm, energy, and drive he was going to need to achieve that position. Everything he said and did in his current job had to conform to the image he held in his mind. He was outstanding because nothing less than his best would fit with the goal he'd picked out. Of course he'll get that district manager's job and all that goes with it. People with unusual drive and energy, people who excel, are the ones who have given themselves a mental picture, a goal to work toward. And the amount of drive they possess will always be in exact proportion to the strength of their desire to make that mental picture a reality, to reach that goal. We don't have to worry about setting a goal we can never reach. That's the strange and wonderful thing about humans, something that most people seem to miss. We never seriously desire anything we can't possibly have. If you get all fired up over something, whether it's an executive position in your company, the income you feel you and your family need to do the things you want to do and have the things you want, being the sort of person who makes a real contribution, sets a fine example, helps others on their way up, If you can clearly envision how it will feel to satisfy your desire, well, then it can be yours. Arnold Bennett wrote that the kind of desire that triggers drive and energy within us isn't some vague hankering, some undefined wish. The productive kind of desire is real. It's concrete. It's a mental picture that will never leave us alone. It's always there in front of our minds, prodding and poking, goading us on. It's an obsession, a whip. It has no mercy, and we'll never be satisfied until we've achieved that which we truly desire. Well, how about you? What's your goal? What is it that gets you fired up every time you think about it? If you have such a goal, you'll never have to worry about the drive and energy you'll need to achieve it. But if you find that you lack drive, that you're short on energy, give it some thought. Decide upon the dream that's more important to you than any other. Then begin to make that dream a reality. You can, and you'll find that you've got all the drive you need, all the energy you want. To achieve your goals in life, create a desire within yourself. Then direct the energy and drive it generates toward getting whatever you want. It's been truthfully said, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. There's a great fact that the average person tends to lose sight of, or simply doesn't know. It's that each of us has the power and the energy, though we may be unaware of it, to achieve those things and conditions we want very much. Energy cannot be created in anyone, but understand that it's there, in others and in yourself, a great and powerful sleeping giant waiting only to be awakened. The waking agent is desire. So your desire to attain a worthy personal goal will unleash abundant energy for you. All you will need to travel an exciting, interesting, and fulfilling road through life to the destinations of your choice. This is Earl Nightingale, and thank you.
All right, so that was a really educational audio. I love how Bob Proctor goes over the laws of vibration and how energy can also be carried in environments, and how our feelings guide us on the route to our true happiness. And I also like how Earl Nightingale took kind of these mindset concepts and visualization concepts and tied it to the marketplace and how to become successful in your profession. And so, I hope you guys liked that, and I hope you guys enjoyed the notes, and I hope if you like these type of videos, you subscribe, and we're just going to keep it rolling. All right, I'll see you guys later.